All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, Bahashem Rakah and our double honors to our apostles and elders at Great Millstone who do rule well, and salute, man. Much love to you, sincere brothers who push this truth week in and week out, man. Y'all brothers stay strong, man. We almost home now. Yeah, I had to speak on this. This is something that's greatly overlooked when it comes to the problem, when it comes to the curses that Jake is up under. When I say Jake, I'm talking about the so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, man. Specifically, especially the so-called Negro in America. You know, because those are the children of Israel, man. Jake is short for Jacob. Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Israel had 12 sons, man, you know, in which the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are direct descendants, lost tribes of the Israelites, man. You know, but this is one of the main contributors to the madness of Jake, which is lead poisoning, man. Lead poisoning, man. Like, most of the neighborhoods in the hood are supposed to be demolished. A lot of them weren't even supposed to be built, man. A lot of these neighborhoods are built by what? Different factories that emit a lot of lead in the air, man. You know, and then you got Jake communities around or in high traffic. A lot of our communities are in high traffic areas, man. Most of us don't live in the rural areas or in the country or deep in the suburbs. Most of our are high traffic areas, which those cars produce a lot of lead, you know. So, and on top of that, you got lead in the walls. You got lead in the paint, man. You know, you got lead in the soil. But that's not something that's, well, I'm just going to get into it, man. From all the lead pollution and poisoning, that shit is actually in the soil now, you know. And it's like over 70% higher in so-called black neighborhoods, man. Tribe of Judah. So we're going to go and get into it, man. I'm going to read the script real quick before I even do. It's Deuteronomy 28 and 28. Give me a second. 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Exactly. So the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, but before we was called those things, we were called the Israelites. Before we were called those derogatory names, which black is derogatory, Mexican is derogatory, Puerto Rican, all this derogatory when you actually look into it. We were called the Israelites, man, God's chosen people. So God gave us a law, statute, and commandment to follow, and whether we do constantly went against it, being hard-headed and rebellious. So let's see what happened. Verse 16, "Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field. Cursed shall thou be in the city, and cursed shall thou be in the field." So in the city, man, factories, all kind of shit, all kind of plants. Niggas living by nuclear plants. Niggas living on top of, like over there in Bridgeton, you got, what's that? Project Manhattan, which they buried a lot of nuclear waste and nuclear weapons. And it's a great danger. A lot of people are coming up with cancer all throughout that area, all kind of issues, man. You know, and that place can go up in flames at any moment, man, because there's a burning fire not too far from where all that nuclear shit is buried. And you got a burning fire, which they burn a lot of trash in that area, man. You know, and underground, that shit is like getting closer and closer. But let's get into this Wikipedia on lead crime hypothesis. So a lot of the lead poisoning is leading to a lot of crime. But we gonna get into it, man. You know, lead poisoning is one of the main contributors of the madness. Like I said, it said the lead crime hypothesis is the association between elevated blood lead levels in children and increased rates of crime, delinquency, and recidivism later in life. It says, hold on, the lead crime hypothesis is the association between elevated blood lead levels in children and increased rates of crime, delinquency, and recidivism later in life. It said lead is widely understood to be highly toxic to multiple organs of the body, particularly the brain. Individuals exposed to lead at young ages are more vulnerable to learning disabilities. And that's who? Jake. Decreased IQ. Listen, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. So you see why a lot of them jakes in them office, they mamas dragging them into them damn offices, Social Security offices to get them put on disability, getting them all kind of crazy checks and shit, man. That's just some of the contributing factors, man. It's lead, and it says problems with impulse control, all of which may be negatively impacting decision making and leading to the commission of more crimes as these children reach adulthood, especially violent crimes. No safe level of lead in the human body bloodstream exists, given that any amount can contribute to deleterious health issues. Damn. Proponents of the lead crime hypothesis argue that the removal of lead additives from motor fuel and the consequent decline in children's lead exposure explains the fall in crime rates in the United States beginning in the 1990s. The hypothesis also offers an explanation of the earlier rise in crime in the preceding decades as the results of increased lead exposure throughout the mid-20th centuries. Why don't they talk about this on the news that much? Why don't they put this in the school books, you know? This should be big, man. But I'm going to hit another script. Deuteronomy 28 and 28. It says, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. So the Lord shall smite thee with madness, man. You see what I read earlier? It says, hold on. I'll highlight this real quick. It says, individuals exposed to lead at a young age are more vulnerable to learning disabilities, decreased IQ, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder, and problems with impulse control. So, read it again. Deuteronomy 28:28, the Lord shall smite thee with madness. You see, that's madness what I just read right there about the decreased IQ, learning disabilities, attention deficit, hyperactivity disorder. That's just more in the curses, man. This shit is very prevalent in the so-called black neighborhoods, man. It says, proponents of the lead crime hypothesis argue that the removal of lead additives from motor fuels, and the consequent decline in children's lead exposure explains the fall in crime rates in the United States beginning in the 1990s. This hypothesis also offers an explanation of the earlier rise in crime in the preceding decades as the result of increased lead exposure throughout the mid-20th century. The lead crime hypothesis, The lead crime hypothesis is not mutually exclusive with other explanations of the drop in U.S. crime rates, such as the legalized abortion and crime effects. Lead exposure during the years in question correlated with exposure to urban poverty. Lead exposure during the years in question correlated with exposure to urban poverty due to close residential or primary school proximity with high-density motor vehicle traffic, burning leaded gasoline, or from residing in older, poorly maintained housing stock. But I got other articles going in more details, man. I'm just reading this one right now. It says, much of which contain high levels of lead in the form of lead paint, lead solder, or other lead-based buildings materials. Additionally, municipalities with a low taxation base often continue to receive drinking water via degraded lead pipes rather than upgrading to modern infrastructure. And of course, they ain't gonna upgrade that shit to modern infrastructure. They want the worst for Jake, man. They even pump more fluoride in the water in Jake communities, man, so-called urban areas, man. Hey, redlining got something to do with this too, man, to keep Jake ass in these fucked up neighborhoods when we getting poisoned day by day, man. But now you ain't got to put a gun to Jake head to poison them. Now Jake just poisoning themselves, man. And then you got things like this. Jake could go buy some fucking cigarettes, go buy a damn 16-pack of beer, which is loaded with estrogen, Cigarettes, those are cancer sticks, cause all types of illnesses, drugs, all this shit, man. Because everything here in America is poisonous for the so-called Negro. Straight up poisonous, man. And yeah. Let me see. And that's part of the Lord also mingling that perverse spirit, man. You know, putting all that lead, using these devils to put all that lead in everything, man. And it says, the difficulty in measuring the effect of, hold up. Okay, I'm going to highlight it. The difficulty in measuring the effect of lead exposure on crime rates lies in separating the effect from other indicators of low socioeconomic status, such as poorer schools, nutrition, and medical care. Exposure to other pollutants and other variables that are predictive of criminal behavior. See that? See that? Man. And a lot of these houses are loaded with mold and mildew too, which also causes all kind of sicknesses and illnesses in the mind, man. You know, this shit is crazy, man. But I'm gonna just hit one more verse, man. Hey, we gotta get the fuck out of here, man, for real. I know I'm cursing, but it is what it is. We gotta get out of here, man. Let me see. This is Micah 2:10. 2:10. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sword destruction. Exactly, man. This is not our rest, as you can see, man. The whole hood is supposed to be demoed, man, demolished. Those houses are supposed to be condemned because they full of lead, full of mold and mildew, you know. But this ain't, don't nobody take it. Don't nobody take this serious. Don't nobody even, give this any thought or whatever, man. So I'm just throwing it out there, man. Hopefully you edified. All praises to y'all, Bashem Yahushua, Bashem Rakah Kwadash. Shalom to the hopefully let Kwam Yashala, a Bible ball.